I've seen a lot of stuff here and there on Twitter, stuff with DLSS and people making fun of it. People are mad about it, things like that. So, yeah, let's see what's going on with that. That's very interesting. So we're going to go to Young Ye. We already know about Young Ye. And he is going to be talking about NVIDIA DLSS 5 being mass ridiculed. So we'll see what is up here.
Now, look, normally I'm someone who's all in favor of a technology like DLSS, which basically allows less powerful devices to achieve pretty good graphics fidelity with some compromises here and there. But what it can output when done right can be really beneficial. And then there's when DLSS is implemented in all of the wrong ways. And that's what we're seeing with the latest version of DLSS. DLSS 5, whose showcase has caused what I can see as near universal backlash and negative reception. So right here we have the announcement from NVIDIA itself announcing NVIDIA DLSS 5, an AI-powered breakthrough in visual fidelity for games coming this fall. DLSS 5 infuses pixels with photorealistic lighting and materials, bridging the gap between rendering and reality. So let's take a look at the showcase that they highlighted here and why it's actually garnering as much backlash as it is. Okay. So here we go. So right here we have DLSS 5 off, and then that's DLSS 5 on. Pausing this frame right here, this looks like one of those AI-generated images. AI-generated images just all have a very specific look. They have that very plasticky, mannequin-like look to them that's very homogenized when it comes to realistic AI images, and this is just literally that.
Yeah, isn't it like the, what do you call it, the frame mogging or whatever? They have the, like, not defined jaw, but, like, it's pretty noticeable. And then it's, like, the cheekbones, like, really... Not saying like it looks masculine or anything. No, not that. It's just like it just reminds me of the handsome Squidward thing, like the meme for that. That's what it reminds me of. But I can see what they mean by this.
I mean, we compare the original model to this one, and you can see like they're not even really the same character. Her facial features are different enough where it doesn't really even look like Grace. Yeah. It looks like one of those Photoshops of like, this is how I would make Grace more attractive kind of fan edits. It looks more like that than like an...
And also looking at the background too. Do you guys see that? So like with it off and then on, this is obviously what the artists have done and everything, right? But let me go ahead and turn my camera off real quick. But like looking at, like you could see like, let me do some more stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and draw the shenanigans out. Okay, so like you see this light here, you actually see that there's this light. Oops, there's like a little bit of light that reflects right here because of this light, right? Because of this light. So this goes to here. The light from the light pole, it kind of like it cascades down to here. All right. Looking at the red, there's like a hue from this light right here. There's kind of like a red hue right here and everything. And then like it's a little bit, it's still like and then obviously like the background it's still gloomy, so it gives it that not uneasy, but it gives you that eerie atmosphere kind of look to it. Okay. All right, so this is what we're looking at right now. Now if we go forward,
an enhanced version of the original.
Now looking at it, it's gone. The red hue it's not there anymore. Remember? Let me go back. So it's like the red hue that you see in this area right here, it's gone. The lamppost up top is not emitting the light. It's just very dim. It's not emitting the light anymore. And then if you look at this spot right here that actually had a light, that had a light to it, doesn't have it anymore. The light's still here, but it doesn't emit the light right here. So it kind of just, it takes away everything. So I thought that was very interesting.
Vaughn, pausing this frame right here. This looks like one of those AI generated images. AI generated images just all have a very specific look. They have that very plasticky, mannequin-like look to them that's very homogenized when it comes to realistic AI images. And this is just literally that. I mean, we compare the original model to this one, and you can see like they're not even really the same character. Her facial features are different enough where it doesn't really even look like Grace. It looks like one of those Photoshops of like, this is how I would make Grace more attractive kind of fan edits. It looks more like that than like an enhanced version of the original work. It literally changes like the artistic intent of the original character. They're not the same artwork. You know what I mean? You can tell this is basically just like an AI filter on top that sure gives it a sense of more lighting, better lighting, more graphics, more realism or whatever. But there's just such a sense of uncanny valley here of like, this is not the character who we saw in the original game without these effects turned on. These effects ultimately serve as a detriment to the artistic intention of this game. This continues.
And again, it messes with the lighting as well. It messes with the environment. So again, it can just throw everything off. If you have this enabled for like throughout the game, if you play like the game with the DLSS 5 on the whole time and then play it with DLSS 5 off, then I feel like you're going to get a completely different experience because of like how the environment changes, how lighting changes. And that's also another thing. It always keeps showing like, for examples, it's like, it seems like there's a light right above their head, like up here, that's coming down like right here on their head or like at their face or whatever. It seems like there's a light and it like it disregards everything else. It just always seems like there's a light bulb or like a key light, something there.
Same with Leon. Like they prettied him up a little bit and added some more scruff that again,
there's like more lighting.
All this gives the impression of like, yeah, more realistic, but with that
more lighting,
AI, plasticiness and mannequinness.
This is weird because this one is like, this is supposed to be like a younger, like a kid, I guess you'd say.
That is impossible to get over.
Now they look older, type of thing.
Like it screams homogenized AI generated.
Wait, hold on. Looking at this guy, look at his forehead right here. Look at his forehead right here. Just trying to making sure. Whoops. It's like ghost. It's like a ghosted head, or like right here. It just looks very. It could be me. It just looks very opaque. Like this is his actual. It looks like this was actually his forehead, but then there's also this too. But I could be wrong. Okay, never mind. Because there's this line right here, but they made it come all the way up, so it looks like it's. Yeah, that was weird. And they always had this fill light in here, so you can see like under his chin. Here it's like not as much detail right here. But then if you do this one, you see it. So yeah, it's this whole fill light thing too. Right here, the shadows, the lighting, the shadows, boom. Now it's not there. Anyway, that was interesting.
It screams homogenized AI generated imagery. I mean, look at this.
With Starfield, it doesn't look that bad.
It's realism that just feels off. And it looks like every other AI video. every other realistic AI video.
I see the glossiness. I can see it now on the characters. Like, look, their
and this,
forehead
folks, is why artistic direction is important, why artistic cohesion is important. Just making everything more quote-unquote realistic doesn't pave the road necessarily for something that overall actually looks better. It's a direction that NVIDIA is heading in with DLSS that doesn't bring a whole lot of comfort for the future of this technology and what it should be used for. Now, while we're on the topic of comfort, that brings us to the sponsor of today's video, this chair right here, Sihu, makers of ergonomic chairs that are fantastic for relaxing, working, and gaming. As someone whose recreation and professional activities involve spending many hours sitting down, finding the perfect chair is pretty important for both day-to-day comfort and also just long-term physical health. And I gotta say, the Sihu Doro C300 chair is onto something here. It's got a really comfortable and dynamic lumbar support that conforms to your spine at various postures,
That's a big
flexible seat back that provides continuous comfort, an extra wide adjustable 3D mechanical headrest that will suit every body type, arm support that can be adjusted across multiple directions, a waterfall-shaped seat that offers a weightless floating-like feel, a weight-sensing chassis that makes seat reclining feel smooth, effortless, and balanced, and the list just goes on and on. Turns out that an R&D team with over 100 professionals and experts worked on designing and engineering this chair, and it definitely shows in the...
I'm sorry, I never actually thought of that. That is actually very smart. He has like little Swiffer things on his feet, so his socks don't get dirty, and it's like static. Young, yeah, I got a question for you. What's up with the PS5 disc covers? What's up with that? They caught my eye. I'm sorry, they caught my eye. Sorry. I'm just wondering. They caught my eye.
Effortless and balanced, and the list just goes on and
smart.
on.
This is smart.
Turns out that an R&D team with over 100 professionals and experts worked on designing and engineering this chair, and it definitely shows in the attention to detail that went into its craftsmanship. It's been a genuinely great addition to my day-to-day seated activities, and it just made them more pleasant and less prone to strain and discomfort. If you're still on your quest for finding the perfect recreational, work, and or gaming chair, the Sihu Doro 300 might be up your alley and worth looking at. And you can get yours by using my link in the description and comment section below, with free shipping for orders over $500, a 30-day money-back guarantee, and a 3-year warranty. All right, so back to the topic at hand. Let's look at some other DLSS 5 spotlights that NVIDIA has been posting since the announcement. Right here we have, check out the Zora technology demo with NVIDIA DLSS 5. And here's what that looks like.
Okay. Now I did hear that when they did the display, when they did this, it took two 5090s for this to work. One to run the, like, just run the game or whatever, and then another 5090 to actually run the DLSS, which is interesting. It is. Anyway. Ooh, wait, hold on. Okay, look at his eyes. Look at the eyes. They darken the eyes. It looks so, I'm sorry, it looks kind of lifeless. And he's a lot older because like they really did the bags on the eyes. Like they really went in on that one. They really defined them. I will say the beard looks better on the DLSS 5 on. I will say the beard does look a little better. It fills in a little better, but I'm not sure if that was the intention of the character. Like, were they supposed to have a little bit of scruff or like a full-on beard? This one, they gave it a full-on beard. So, but then again, like looking at the lighting in the background, it's like he's supposed to somewhat pop out, but then on this, they make everything pop out because there's that invisible light that is somewhere up here that's just like boom, or a light right here just boom. Compared to it right here, there's not really much of a light. The only light that you have is that's right here, that's cascading down right here and in shoulder. You see a little bit of light down here. You guys can't really see it, but down here. But yeah, this they just lit up everything.
Again, it homogenizes everything to that classic
Like,
like
that looks
plasticky,
that was like gray.
AI look that makes all of these games kind of look the same. You know, whatever style Resident Evil had, whatever style this game had, all of it becomes very similar.
Like, it just looks like if you really wanted to, you can just make these, just make it more green. Keep the lighting. You can also see like the sun right here on the leaves are over here, like this area. Now it's washed out. The shadow's washed out, so it's like this looks like morning-ish, and then changed it to noon. Like, it also, so it looks like it just changes the time of day. And it's just like it ignores the lighting. You get a great amount of shadows here, and then they're gone. And these are just things I'm just slowly noticing, just going back and forth. That is crazy. This has a lot of light on it, which not really light showing on here because light's coming. You know, the light's coming from this way. It's going this way. This looks like it is just straight down, but then it like doesn't know what it wants to do exactly.
Similar, and they all feel like they're cut from the same cloth. That's how all of like
so
realistic AI imagery ultimately feels. And then here we have the Starfield showcase, and I mean this right here especially. This literally looks like every AI thumbnail I've ever seen when I just freeze this frame.
It almost looks like a I was going to say a wax painting. But it looks like it looks like an oil painting. That's what it reminds me. Like, that's what like the glossiness of the face and everything. It reminds me of an oil painting, like that you saw, like way back in the day. You know, that's what it looks like. It looks like it's an oil painting.
There's just something about this that you.
Hey, hold on. Let's hear. Let's look it up. Let's hear. Oil painting. Oil painting, kinda. It's like a mixture of like Da Vinci and like oil painting. This is the closest I can get to. But it's just like if everything was like very smoothed out, it would look like the same thing. Yeah, so it gives me like a Da Vinci / oil paint. That's what it gives me. That's just the look it gives me. That's it. So, anyway.
Use this frame. There's just something about this that you know in your heart of hearts doesn't look quite right. The level of realism just doesn't match the level of fidelity on display, like in terms of animation and all of that. And there's just this sense that like something is lost artistically, like that was brushed over with this layer of paint that is the same layer of paint that every other AI imagery uses. The backlash has already been insane. I mean, This video right here has already garnered 16 million views, and it has only been a couple hours since it went live. And you've got top comments like this one with almost 50,000 likes saying, this looks horrifically bad. Nobody wants an AI slop filter on top of their games. Because ultimately, that's what this is. It's not take what exists, take the existing product and make it look better. It's layer on top of the product, AI slop filters that makes it look more realistic, but also gives it a sense of uncanny valley, a sense of like plasticity and artificialness to it that actually like ruins the art direction.
It's basically like if somebody were, especially photographers, they deal with this a lot, especially for like internet purposes. But it's like the photographer takes photos of you, of a person and things like that. They go in like Photoshop and stuff like that. They touch it up a little bit, you know, they probably add a little bit of vibrance in there. If it's kind of dull, if there was like a leaf, they'll try to like edit that out and everything, and then like just do all these final touches on it, and then they send you the photos, right? Obviously they probably watermark it or something like that, but they send you the photos, and then you go in and you're like, I'm gonna make this better, I'm gonna throw a filter on it, and now like It has a little more lighting on it, and then my face looks a little more like the face looks a little more defined. That shows like cheekbones and things like that. And then that photographer is pissed off. Are they ever going to work with you again? No, because you just basically completely like brushed over their work and like defaced it pretty much. Yeah, it's you. It is you, the person that's in the photos. So I guess you can say that. But then again, it's like, well, what's the point of hiring them? And then what's the point of paying money for it if you're just going to do that? That's pretty much what's going on here.
Here's somebody else who put it best. This is so disrespectful to the intentional art direction of devs. If they wanted to lean into the hyper-realism, they would, not to mention how drastically this changes key aspects of visuals like character features and so on, and NVIDIA should immediately delete this nonsense.
Yeah, that is also another thing, is that what if you don't like the, I could be wrong, but with the DLSS, it's like they trying to put everything. It's like the DLSS filter is a AI generated realism feature. So what if you are playing a game that is more stylized? If you're playing Persona 5, what do you call it? Metaphor, Refantasio, Borderlands, things like that. Like how would the DLSS 5 work on that? Because remember, those are stylized, cartoony, cell shaded. I mean, if we really want to go into it, what about Fortnite too? Like, are they going to make everything super hyper, try to like make everything hyper realistic with it? And then also performance wise, how's that going to work out? Because that's a lot that you got to render to make it look realistic. Because remember, we're just trying to define everything.
And all the while, NVIDIA is getting developers to chime in and talk about how amazing this technology is.
Yeah.
And frickin' Todd Howard out here trying to hype up DLSS 5 by saying the following.
Hey, Todd at Bethesda here. We have such a rich history pushing graphics with NVIDIA going all the way back to Morrowind, that incredible water. And when they showed us DLSS 5 and we got it running in Starfield, it was amazing how it brought it to life. We've played it. We can't wait for all of you to do so as well.
I mean, Todd Howard is known for over-marketing, for over-hyping stuff, so I guess he's back at it. No, Todd, I'm sorry. There's no way that Bethesda Game Studios sat down, looked at this, and went, wow, this is it. This is the future of graphics fidelity. Ain't no way you looked at this and thought, this looks way better than what artists can achieve without this filter on. Then,
yeah, it's not just the... When they're talking about artists, it's not just like the character artists, the prop artists, the environmental artists. It's also the special effects, the lighting artists as well. It's even the texture artists, the people that even make like the clothing, the material on the clothing, the textures and the that created the material for it. Even this piece of metal right here, that is still a material. That is still material that somebody had to go in there and make. And it takes a long, and I'm not gonna lie, it takes a long time to do that. Especially if you're wanting to do like in-house materials and textures, like somebody has to go in and create these. And I wouldn't say it's not fun. It's just, it all depends on the art director and then also the artist, because again, like you could spend hours, possibly days on just trying to get one filter or trying to get one material done, just because it's like something's just not right. When the light hit it, is probably too defined, or it's not defined enough. Does it have enough shadows in there? Is it metallic? If it's metallic, like, is it too shiny? Is it not shiny enough? Roughness, is it too grunge, dirty looking, or is it too clean? Type of thing. It's a lot that goes into it. I did this once for just a lamp. And I was like, okay, this is too much. And then all I did was delete one node. And I was like, okay, this looks good. My instructor looked at it. He's like, it's shit. It looks like shit. So then I put the thing back on. He's like, this is perfect. And I was like, it looks off to me, but apparently for him, it looked amazing. So
went, wow, this is it. This is the future of graphics fidelity. Ain't no way you looked at this and thought, this looks way better than what artists can achieve without this filter on. Then again, Bethesda in recent years, as far as game releases go, hasn't been a leader in quality, so I don't know, maybe they do think it looks better, but...
And also the other thing when it comes to like the artists and stuff, it's like when you get a game and then you had like the DLSS 5 on, it's kind of like when you finish the game and like you're playing on DLSS 5 and it say it looks better or whatever, and like you go through the credits and you like look at all the artist names, you're just and that could be wrong. It looks like people would be like, why were these artists even here? Like why were they even part of the game, you know, type of thing. I don't know. It just seems like either people's artwork is going to get overridden with this filter, right? Or what it's going to do is it's going to make artists, not current artists, but like newer artists that get into the field, it's going to make them more complacent because they're like, oh, I'm just going to make it the bare minimum. I'm just going to do the bare minimum to get by. And then we're just going to throw a DLSS 5 on there anyway. So when we throw it on there, it's going to look way better. Like, I feel like that's what's going to happen. I could be wrong, and I could be wrong. I'm just saying.
In my opinion, while graphics fidelity-wise, it looks better, in terms of the cohesion of the entire visual aesthetic, it looks so off. Scrolling down, you've got plenty of comments going, oh, no, Todd, no. Todd realizing he doesn't have to update the prehistoric creation engine because now he can simply fake good graphics with Snapchat filter. Like, the insults are... pretty substantial. The mockery surrounding this is not something to scoff at. In the comments section of that first video I showed you where they announced NVIDIA DLSS 5, you can see right here that all of the comments express nothing but disdain and disgust at NVIDIA's notion that what they showed is something worth celebrating. I mean, Samuel Dietz, who did Castlevania animation, said, fuck you and your AI slop filter, and all of the memes and all of the insults and mockery are in full force because people cannot believe just what a downgrade DLSS 5 is. I mean, sure, impressive from a technological standpoint, but in terms of does it actually visually enhance the games that we play, most would say, hell no. There's already an entire topic made by Twitter on this front that highlights all of the top posts and how every single one of them completely bashes this move on NVIDIA's part. Here's somebody showing footage of Unreal Engine 5 Mario and says, thanks NVIDIA, now every game I play can look like this, and it has that homogenized Unreal Engine 5 look. Like, artistically, I mean, sure, graphics fidelity wise, again, it looks more realistic, but
that
artistically,
looks like a bad trip.
It doesn't actually look better than the Mario games that Nintendo's put out. More realistic, more pixels, more lighting doesn't necessarily equate to better overall visuals. A lot of people have been showing this image as what DLSS 5 basically is. You've got a blurry image of Obama, and the end result is something that really does not resemble Obama at all. And the quote tweets from NVIDIA's announcement are pretty vicious. Here's another top comment that says, finally, pure sloppium. I mean, it's just pure, unadulterated backlash, like across the board. It is just a complete bafflement and just complete need to dunk on this thing for the audacity to put this out and act like we gobble this up. I mean, hell, you've got Brian Catanzara, who's the VP of Applied Deep Learning Research at NVIDIA, talking about how proud he is of DLSS 5 and all these things. You can see right here, he's getting utterly ratioed. 1.8 thousand likes versus, 2.8 thousand replies, and, you know, the viewership here is insane. And just about everyone calling this abysmal dog shit, so on and so forth. Like, all people want is for DLSS to offer just better visual fidelity and to help with performance and to upscale some stuff, not to add a filter on top that completely replaces the look of the game. We've got journalists and content creators chiming in. Gamers Nexus came out and said DLSS 5 makes this look like an AI-generated dating profile picture used to scam an old person in another country. Just looks like every other AI-generated image of a person. That's what I'm saying. It's very homogenized. No character or soul to it. Art loses what makes it impressive when it all looks like generated slop.
Now, here's the thing. Now, going forward, this is my question with it, right? Is that when you do this, right? When you do the when you're doing the DLSS 5 and it comes out, you know, later this year, I think the end of this year, that's what they're aiming for. And they're going forward with video games and doing trailers and stuff. Like, I feel like a lot of these studios are going to be incorporating that into their game trailers, which then again is going to mislead the consumers for this. Equalizer, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Welcome in. I feel like that's what's going to happen. It's going to it's going to mislead a lot of consumers. They're gonna be like, oh, well, this looks interesting. The way how they did the graphics of it looks pretty interesting. I'll get it. I'll buy the game. But then when they buy the game and then they don't, obviously DLSS 5 is not on, and they look at it, they're like, okay, this is completely different. Either, hey, I'm glad I bought the game, or what the heck is this? This was misleading compared to the trailer. People pull up the trailer and it's like, what the heck? And then, you know, and then that's when you start getting returns. Then you get bad reviews. People saying like it doesn't look like what it was in the, you know, in the game trailer or the gameplay trailer of said game, and it was because they had DLSS on, type of thing.
Specificity of a character model or just of any art visual direction is glossed over with homogenized AI slop. Right here we have a close-up of Grace, DLSS 5 off versus on.
I could be wrong, right? But it's just looking at the eyes. Just give me 1 second. I could be very wrong, but looking at just right here, this section right here, doesn't that look like Scarlett Johansson? I could be wrong. Like I could be wrong. Let me see. Again, I could be wrong. It kind of does. It's just like the way how the eye, like, just the features of it. It looks like Scarlett Johansson. I'm not gonna lie. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm just like,
and you can see that they really don't even look like the same character. And Tom Warren from The Verge here, journalist, agrees, saying DLSS 5 looks like Gen AI for video games. Grace looks totally different with DLSS 5. And the memes are running amok. We've got like this image right here, NVIDIA showing gamers this and calling it the future. And it's
like
this meme right here turn into...
Why does this look like a very old version of William Dafoe? I forgot who this is. But they are taking people like, God dang it. You know what I'm saying? Actually, this one, right? The nose and everything. Just like bring the chin up, right? That really does look like it's an AI version of Willem Dafoe. Just with shorter hair. And then just more wrinkles. This is the closest that you probably get. Yeah, this is the closest that you get out of it. That is crazy. Because remember, generative AI, they just pulling images and everything off of the internet, and then like forming stuff together. Wow,
I mean, it's basically what Gen AI is doing.
I won't be surprised if somehow, and I'm not gonna say this. This is just a big. It's just a huge extreme. I wouldn't be surprised that NVIDIA gets sued or something between having, you know, people like, you know, celebrities look at it and like, this looks like me, and then they want to do like a copyright claim or something like that. Like, I can see something like this. Just saying.
It looks more realistic, but doesn't mean it looks better. Something about this looks very disturbing, right? And scrolling down, you've got, you know, like this Gen AI meme of Cloud with a realistic head, but still polygonal body, so on and so forth. I mean, we got Minecraft here turned with DLSS 5 on, and, you know, this is what DLSS 5 is doing, essentially. Like, it's an exaggeration, this meme, but also kind of not. Same goes with this DLSS 5 meme of
That's
off
crazy.
versus on, so on and so forth. Right and right here, DLSS off versus DLSS on.
No.
This is how people are taking DLSS 5 to be. It's just purely AI slop filter. Mario, DLSS off versus on. Like, yes, this looks more realistic, but this looks right. This looks like it has visual cohesion, and like the character was designed this way and was meant to look this way instead of whatever this uncanny valley shit is. I even had to post my own. It's basically like taking Homer Simpson and making him realistic. And yeah, graphics fidelity wise, this is
That
better,
looks
but
scary.
dear God, do we ever want this? Hell no. And of course, NVIDIA's gone out to content creators to showcase DLSS 5, and Digital Foundry was among those who were first shown this technology, and they give it a lot of praise, and it's something that's not gone down well with the general populace. I love Digital Foundry. I think they do fantastic work, but the amount of compliments that they give this right here is something that I do not agree with, and it's led to one of the worst likes to dislikes ratio I've ever seen on a Digital Foundry video. Usually they're pretty on point, but in this scenario, a lot of people disagree with how impressed Digital Foundry seems to be by this technology that, again, technologically is impressive, but its final output is anything but. It just feels like a sacrilegious desecration of the original source material artwork. And the top comments in Digital Foundry's video state things like, Grace face looks like those I made the character hot edits. DLSS 5, fuck your art direction, basically. What in the AI filter, so on and so forth. I thought this video was an April Fool's joke, but it's still March. It's basically when you throw an image at an AI and say, make it ultra realistic. Everyone's getting the exact same impressions for DLSS 5. It is so universally hated that I just wasn't expecting DLSS 5 to go in this direction. But if this is where this technology is headed, fuck this shit. Rewind that back and do something different. Improve the games for what they are instead of trying to add layers on top that literally change the
Yeah, like having optimization. Somebody still needs to work on that with video games. Optimize your damn games.
artistic merits and the artistic integrity of the actual product. Somebody right here put it best. I think a lot of people are starting to realize that better graphics are separate from artistic vision.
Yeah.
Games use so many tools to achieve their intended look. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution and never will be. It's why those Unreal Engine 5 Mario remakes look like total shit. And the thing is, what AI is doing is essentially creating this one-size-fits-all solution and environment as far as graphics are concerned.
It's basically the same thing as, oh, we want to make a video game for everybody, and we all know a game for everybody is a game for no one. Like, I would die on that hill. I would die on that hill with Arrowhead Studios, because they're the ones that came with that slogan. So I'm just saying
that it's not actually good for the artistic medium that is gaming. The fact that every game has its own visual style, visual, artistic direction, and identity is what makes those games on some level stand out, especially given that gaming, so much of it is a visual medium. And DLSS 5 completely shits on that by homogenizing all of it with the same style of AI plasticky mannequin homogenized garbage slop look that is less pleasing to the eye than NVIDIA thinks it is. It's actually really discomforting to look at. Here's one more.
It'll pretty much be like this, where it's like, if every single game has this DLSS 5 filter on it, it looks like one studio itself has made all these games, even though it's clearly made from other studios and everything. But it looks like, just because of how the art is, because of this filter, it looks like one studio made it. So you can have a studio that made, it's like the studio with these games, right? Sorry, Resident Evil Requiem, which is Capcom, right? And then you have Starfield, like just those two games alone from two different studios. But throwing this DLSS 5 filter on, it looks like one studio made those both, like made both those games. It makes it look like it's a supporting art studio that just said, screw your art style, we're just gonna go ahead and do our stuff and put it on there.
Speaking to that effect, saying when art directing, you need to design everything towards a quality bar. We accept that games don't look real because the animations, textures, lighting all hit about the same bar. This looks incredibly off because
Hogwarts
the
Legacy.
textures and asset bar is way above the animation and general movement. Photorealism with game level animation will always look incredibly off. It's about cohesion. It's about making sure every aspect of a game's visuals and fidelity are at the same level, so all of it comes together in a visual imagery that looks like it belongs, like every single object looks like it's all part of the same world. But this right here just looks off. The character models don't quite fit the environment and the lack of full photorealism, and they all have that appearance of, all of these character models
Have a light.
look like they're made from like wax when you apply the AI filter. It all has that same waxy look. They look like animated wax models. So yeah, NVIDIA, you need to go back to the drawing board, because this right here, if your goal was to make a case for how AI can empower users or whatever, all you've done is just bring more negative optics to AI, more than there already is surrounding this technology that is far from perfect, and often its utilization feels tacked on. It feels like more exploitative than anything. It doesn't feel like AI more often than not is being used to benefit mankind and to benefit society as a whole. It just feels like this race towards like normalizing something that still doesn't quite work as intended, and doesn't have certain like checks and balances in place to ensure that the worst versions of AI cannot be exploited for corporate greed and corporate profits and the like. There's just an incredible amount of tone deafness that has to happen behind the scenes to believe that they could show this and people would be like head over heels and completely hyped over this, which highlights the difference between like executives and non-artists who like are only looking at things from like a technical standpoint versus the artistic standpoint that would tell you immediately this does not look good. But people in suits just don't understand that. They genuinely believe that they can show us this and we'll fawn over it. Which is why it shouldn't be those kinds of people leading the charge on technologies that influence art. But yeah, this is just a colossal misstep, and sure, maybe years down the line, this technology will be in a much better place. Maybe some version of this technology will impress us years down the line, but you know, based on what they're showing right now, all the general collective seems to be indicating and seems to know right now is we don't want this shit. So pull this back. We do not want it. And if anything, all this has done is brought attention to the limitations of AI and how it doesn't necessarily, its implementation doesn't necessarily mean art will be better for it. But anyway, that's my take, folks. I'd love to hear what your thoughts and opinions are on DLSS 5. Do you think that, you know, what they're doing with DLSS 5 is the right direction to go in? Or are you in the camp of the general backlash, which is that it kind of looks like shit, and this is an area that NVIDIA should pull back on and focus more on enhancing what exists rather than adding layers on top that just change the overall visuals and look so much that it comes across just really poorly and makes for just a really uncanny and uneasy feeling visual aesthetic. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, it's Mr. Young Yeah. Make sure to go check him out. I'll be sure to link his video in the chat, and also I'll have it in the description below. But here you go. Yeah, it's so insane to see what's just going on in this. And again, it looks very weird that these characters, like it's just like they're just overdoing it. They're just overdoing it, and it's just, this is also just making this is basically just making like artists gonna be losing their jobs and stuff. Lighting artists are losing their jobs over this if they want to keep going this route. I feel like either they're gonna lose their jobs, or they're gonna be doing less of of what they want to do because of the situation, just because of this DLSS. But then again, we still have to wait until probably the end of the year, probably early next year, because they still need to work it out. Because in order for this to work, you need two 5090s for this to work. So just letting you guys know that. All right. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about the whole thing with DLSS 5. And do you guys want it? Do you not want it? Are you going to be using it? You're not going to be using it? What are the upsides to it, or what are the downsides to it? Let me know in the comments, and I would like to hear you guys' thoughts on that. All right. Stop channel. See you guys later. Have a good one. Peace.